So I wanted to make a video on which one wastes more time, hospital or bank. Cause in a Jamaica, right? If you just know, say, boy, if I go one of them places, just kind of lock out the rest of the day because you're not got a chance to do nothing else. So just how kind of you know give a breakdown of what you can expect in at that time, right? So we can start off with the bank now. It's a little introduction so you see what me I talk about.
Just for open a little bank account in a Jamaica is difficult. Hmm? To save your hard working money, in a one bank, it's difficult, cause when you go to open a bank account, what amount of things they want from you. Sometimes you have to wonder say if the work here look. You see a Sagicor? Me bum bun me go figure out me one Sagicor account one time. You see? In a last year. And when me look and so much things me have to go bring in just for open one account so me can save me money. Me tell the girl say what me not bother right? And even have certain things you can't open the account, right?
Alright, and this is a video from Jason motivation speaker or speaker, you know. Um, yeah, and he's very much right. A lot of the stuff that they require, I know that there's a lot of connotation with the whole scamming thing and all that. But from ever since Jamaica's kind of had these rigorous, unnecessary extra things, extra hoops you need to jump through. I remember one time when I was trying to open a Scotiabank account when I was working at a call center, right? And I got the papers showing proof of employment. I brought the bill and everything, and because the bill, oh, all right. Long story short, something I just had one thing that wasn't the way how they wanted it. I told me I had to come back another day because they had only they would only see a certain amount of people for the day, so I had to bring it. Like I think it was proof of address. So I brought the bill in my name, but I need some other kind of proof of address, and it was kind of weird because because the job letter and the bill that I brought was showing the same address, but I still need to bring proof of address. So that but if you look at some of the comments here, um, they like charging you to draw your own money. Scotiabank, this one saying that the wait time is long, than in America. NCB, through the worst, more information than foreign. Alright, so that's a little teaser there. Hold on. Let me not get this video copyright struck. Alright, because what I'm kind of trying to do in this video, I'm gonna pretty much go through all of this stuff you have to kind of worry about if you want to get anything done bank wise or hospital wise in Jamaica. So, because in the case, so if you feel sick, why better you just turn the yard and drink something and take some mixed sweet because if you can avoid, you go down there. Because by the time if you get through, by the time if at the hospital if you go, by the time if you get through, by the time if you go accident and emergency, then talk to the nurse and the nurse will say go register, then you have to wait based on if they put you up priority 1, 2, 3 or 4. They say they put you I think a 4 are the least one. And then there's the one that if you don't like bleed up on the ground and because I had this one of my cousins, older cousin was like literally coughing up blood and he had to be there for hours because he went there from in the day and it was at night. Another cousin had to be down there like cussing, like literally cussing for him to get through, and he had a pail, like coughing up literal blood. So, alright, but let's look back at the banking one a bit here first, right? So, in the case of the banking, when it comes down to the long line, a lot of the long line thing was supposed to be kind of taken care of um with the remember back in COVID when you had to like go to the online accounts and do a lot of transactions. When I was working at the bank, because I worked at the bank for a little bit too, my job was channel migration officer. And in that position, we kind of help to bring awareness to the online platform and that you had the option to do a lot of this stuff instead of coming into the bank and, you know, congregating because they didn't want people to be like, the whole social distance thing. So the long lines um, at that time were kind of handled, but now we're back to square one pretty much. And, you know, if it's a case that it's something basic you want to do, um, you can pretty much do a lot of the stuff online, and this is something that you need to come in your house for. Opening the account is another one. If you want to open a bank account, you need too many things. You need the ID forms. You need the reference letters. You need proof that you have a job or a source of income. You need the address, blood type, the JP needs to, know you. You need to know the bank's first president. You need to have an understanding of the process that went into building the bank. But pretty much you need way too much as well. That's what I'm saying. The next thing is even when you do get the account up and running, you're lucky when the ATM somewhere across the island actually work. I made a video on this. I think it was maybe two videos around ATMs in Jamaica not working. I may make another video around that topic. No, well later, but but ATMs, it's hit or miss because you may want to go to a specific ATM, and if that one isn't working, you have to use another one, and then there are fees that are associated with that. So this is another headache thing too. And it may be a case that you use your last money for fear to go to the bank to get the money, or to go to the ATM to maybe pull some money. But if that one ATM is out of service and there isn't one close by, you're what Jamaicans so typically say dead in the show. Another thing is when you want to qualify for like the mortgage, right? You have to pretty much have the same amount of um, things that show that you proof of income and all of that, but you still may not qualify for a mortgage. So yeah, that's another thing. And another thing after that too is um, loans. So they'll tell you how much you qualify for. So this is kind of understandable a little bit because they're not gonna want to lend you too much at once, but it's still a gripe that a lot of people have to kind of deal with. Especially if you have good standing with the bank, that should kind of allow you to have some more leeway. But typically, they want to give you a small amount first. But typically, people that want loans, they need for a specific amount and they need for a specific time. But I have a bit of a sore throat dealing with right now. But I wanted to get through this, so we're gonna try our best. But it's not about I'm gonna go to the hospital to kind of waste another 24 hours. Not right now. Another thing that we have to worry about the bank is repossession, so they can take a car if you miss a payment, you know, and you still owe the loan and all that. Alright, another one, um, to reopen a dormant account. I remember this one time when I had a surgical account, a Scotia account. I had to pretty much do all the process to get for a new account, just to get the dormant account active again. Um, I know a lot of it is to get the information current, but it should not be that I need to do everything over because I'm pretty much. Why would I need to do the full process when I'm just reactivating? I'm not doing a new account. That's another thing that's just kind of, and then at a drop of a hat, they may decide to like change the whole format of how they do their registration and all that. And you have to pretty much waste another day if you're missing some form or some paper or something else or some signature that they deem that you need to get whatever business you want to get done, you have to waste another day because it's not the case where they're gonna like hold a place in line or no that. You have to come again, plan to waste that entire day to do the thing. Let's go back to another video here. I think I'm joking. Alright. Hold on. Alright.
Scotia Bank, Scotia Bank, Scotia Bank. Oh, bro. Yo, you know I'm for piss me off, you know. Scotia Bank. How is it that you have implemented so many different fees? You charge the people that use your bank for every single thing. Even if you use the ATM machine alone, a $50. And then you get tax on it too. And on a charge for every single thing. And you're not telling me say you take off the 24-hour just for who open a little bank account in a Jamaica is different.
So yeah, pretty much on all sides. It's like pulling teeth, pretty much pulling teeth. That's how the banking system is in Jamaica. And every time you want to get the smallest transaction done, if it's a case that you can do it online, I recommend you do it that way because there's so much unnecessary red tape that you have to deal with. It's just not worth it. All right. So next side of this now. So pretty much kind of covered the banking. We can always go deeper and look at more stuff, but let's just kind of keep the video as short as possible. Next side now, hospital. So when you go to the hospital in Jamaica, especially if it's gonna be an emergency type case, even if it's not an emergency type case, if it's a case that you have an appointment, you're still gonna be wasting a lot of time in the hospital. It's a free system, and I don't know why that allows for so much of a lengthy wait time. Because if you go to the hospital, you want to get help. But yeah, especially with the whole thing with the nurses from Cuba, I've seen that impacted also. But yeah, so let's go from the accident emergency side. If it's a case that your foot isn't like falling off or some body part falling off or you're not bleeding from the face, you probably won't see anybody for a while. So in Jamaica, how we typically do it, if you go to the accident emergency, you're gonna talk to the nurse first, who's gonna pretty much get like a initial reading on you and all that, with like your pressure, maybe your sugar, and um, they're gonna pass it on to the doctor or the nurse who's gonna see you after that. So after the initial nurse sees you, they're gonna send you to get registered. Hopefully you brought somebody with you or somebody met you while at the hospital. Like a family member came down to see you because they're gonna want to go get registered. When you go get registered, now they're gonna send you back to like go to waiting area. In the waiting area now, that can be hours depending on what your condition is or what they perceive your condition to be. Because some people are good at explaining what they're feeling in the moment. So if you're not like showing physical signs of distress, if you're or maybe a type of person that doesn't really show distress in that way, you could pretty much die in this position here. And that's not a joke. People have literally died. There's been news articles on people dying at the hospital. I've not included those, but I could like put links to those after the video here, right? So the next one is the food. All right, so the food isn't too bad. All right, let's go back to the another video here. On food. All right, so these are some of the options for the food that are in the hospital. So you see dumpling and callaloo. I think that's mackerel. It's not too bad. This is porridge. Um, yeah. All right. So this is one about the beds. Well, part of the issues too with the Jamaican health system, it's a lot of these older buildings. They weren't really made for the levels of care needed. So you pretty much have to have people like in the hallways and stuff sometimes when it's like a health event. So like in the corona time, any major virus outbreak, you can have stuff like this, right? If there's a increase in population need for hospital care. Yeah, so you heard a lot of coughing in the background. Yeah. So the thing is with this too, right? If you go to the accident emergency, and let's say you do get registered, so there is a four levels to being registered at the hospital. So well, four, not four levels, four um, categories they can put you in, and depending on which category, you're gonna be there longer. If they feel like you're not that sick, and they're gonna wait a lot longer. So um, the most recent one I did was with my wife, and she had to be there for to see a doctor, and she was like having um, issues that should have been addressed or seen by a doctor really, really quickly. It took me personally having to go and talk to the customer service team multiple times to actually get the process moving. And by the time uh, it took let's say around 24 hours before she left, I had to leave it with the kids and come home and get them kind of refreshed and get them into bed because um, we were there for so long and we were overnight and there was no like place or area for you to like stay other than in the really tough and hard chairs. I think the concept is there's a concept in I think it's somewhere in the US where they have like the furniture that's not made to house people or have people stay for long. Yeah, that's what it feels like. Like hostile furniture, I think it's called hostile, something like hostile furniture, something like that. But it's kind of like that. I mean, that's how the furniture feels in the room. All right. So let's get back to this side. So all right. So yeah. So another thing, nurses don't really act with urgency. And I get it, you're not really being paid that much to do this. But one of the thing about being a nurse is, right, you should have at least a little level of empathy for the patients. But I don't know if it's a case that maybe over time you can become desensitized to the pain of people and all that. But this expression here is typical. Um, I typically don't really get it personally, but I've had people tell me that this is how they're treated. All right. I don't know. Maybe I look more like a person that you want to kind of help. I don't know. Maybe I have the puppy dog face, I guess, or I look more like a dignified person that they want to make sure gets through. I don't know. But so yeah, I have another thing too. If it's a case that they're using a digitized system, you may have to worry about the system going down. If the system goes down, then that means that you're gonna be waiting longer. And a problem that I ran into with the when my wife was there, her docket, the thing that has her information and stuff. I went to the nurse to check on her information and stuff and make sure that she, you know, would be getting through. And I saw the docket near the desk, where it should be. And she said, she and the nurse told, reassured me that she would be in the next batch of people being seen. Let's say around 3 hours later or so, I went back and they said that they couldn't find the docket. So, and this was like physical stuff. So somehow it got sent back around the information desk or something. I don't know, but it wasn't where it should have been. So if I hadn't like gone and was inquiring, that's another problem. Um, so after you register, after you see the initial nurse and the register, you're gonna see it'll take another time again because you're gonna have to see another nurse now. Then you're gonna see the doctor. So after you see this nurse, it's another wait time again in between that. So this one's gonna take like your measurements, so like your height, your weight, um, any other thing that she needs to pass on to the doctor from maybe a urine sample also. If they put you on a drip, well, you're not gonna put you on a drip until you see the doctor too. So, you know, So in the case that you went there and you're not showing the if you're not if you're a nonchalant person in Jamaica, you're not gonna really get through that easily. So yeah. Next one. So it's after you go to the wait time to see the nurse, you're gonna go to the wait time again to see the doctor. If it's a case that you have to do like a test and stuff, given by the doctor, that's another wait time again to be observed and wait again to get those results by the doctor. And if it's a case that the time or the shift for that doctor has expired, then you're gonna have to wait until give them maybe let's say an hour or so on top of your already massive waiting time that you've been going through for them to change over, and hopefully the details of your case haven't been lost and you're waiting to see whoever's going to be able to address your case. And then you have to wait again after all of this to go to the pharmacy to get the medication done. And if it's a case that they don't have the medication, they have implemented the quick prescript thing where you can actually get this done online, but that's more for a case that let's say you want to send in the prescription and then not really wait around. So you pretty much send in the prescription and then you could leave, and then when it's ready they'll give you a call. But after that online process you still have to wait again, because I've gone through this wait, like not as long as the regular time, but maybe 45 minutes to an hour. You're gonna have to pretty much wait for it to for them to get to you to get the medication. So yeah, if you're gonna go to the hospital in Jamaica, just know you're gonna pretty much be giving a lot of your time, a lot of your time. All right. By the time you get through, either you feel better, or my plan the funeral. That's what I just say. All right. So yeah, that's the video. Which one do you think is worse, the hospital or the bank? Which one? Right, sir. I that. um, I have a couple more verses with like this I want to do, but for now, see you in the next one. All right. Let me know what verses you want to see me do next.